that because, no.
We will call the Monday, May 20th Board of Education meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you can please stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have the consent agenda. We have two items there, the approval of the minutes from the April 22nd board meeting, as well as the statement of receipts and expenditures for April 2024. We have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Second, I thought you. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that passes. We will hand it over to Jeff for the superintendent's report.
Yes, so we'd like to start tonight by recognizing our retirees. This is a large group for us this year. We have 6 teachers that are retiring this year, and before we had our meeting tonight, we had a little social beforehand. I think Kira has a slide with their pictures on there for that. And their current pictures, not the pictures from when they started here. But we're going to be recognizing them individually. So we have Doug Arndt with 25 years of service, Susie Beatty with 26 years of service, Fran Grant with 31 years of service, Robert Perry, 28 years of service, Michael Ritker, 33 years of service, and Brenda Stilo with 21 years of service. And so we have a fleece for them for some swag as they leave our district, as well as a certificate to commemorate their time here. And so it says, we'll say, with sincere appreciation and gratitude to Doug Arndt, on the occasion of your retirement, the Grafton School District gratefully recognizes your 25 years of service to the students and community of Grafton. So that's how we come on. You can stay up here, that'd be awesome. Okay, we greatly appreciate it. We have Susie Beatty. With sincere appreciation and gratitude to Susie Beatty, on the occasion of your retirement, the Grafton School District gratefully recognizes your 26 years of service to the students and community of Grafton. Congratulations, Susie. We have Fran Grant. With sincere appreciation and gratitude to Fran Grant, on the occasion of your retirement, the Grafton School District gratefully recognizes your 31 years of service to the students and community of Grafton. So congratulations, Fran. And with sincere appreciation and gratitude to Robert Perry, on the occasion of your retirement, the Grafton School District gratefully recognizes your 28 years of service to the students and community of Grafton. So thanks, Bob. And with sincere appreciation and gratitude to Michael Ritker, on the occasion of your retirement, the Grafton School District gratefully recognizes your 33 years of service to the students and community of Grafton. And Brenda Stilo, who's been here 21 years, but I think she said earlier 38 years in education. Total. But with sincere appreciation and gratitude to Brenda Stilo, on the occasion of your retirement, the Grafton School District gratefully recognizes your 21 years of service to the students and community of Grafton.
Thank you.
We talked earlier about the impact that they've had with institutional knowledge, but also the impact that they've had on students. And that's the piece that we'll miss the most. Not only are they great educators, they're also great people, have been great role models for other faculty members as well as students and our entire community. So we will greatly miss you. I don't know if someone on the board would like to say something as well.
Yes, I know many of you personally from either
educating our boys or through my involvement with the district. So thank you for all of your years of service. Talked about the long-standing tenure that the 6 of you have, and I was running the numbers. Mike, I'm a math major, so I'm all about the numbers, and there's almost 200 years of education service standing up there in the 6 of them, and 164 years here in the Grafton School District. So, but it's great. I mean, beyond the numbers, as Jeff said, though, you've impacted so many students and people's lives over the years, and for that, we're very grateful and appreciate all of your time here. It's one of the things that I've become a board member and worked with teachers, and I just see the passion of our educators, and that is so evident. And if you've done it for 33 years, 21 years, whatever, you obviously have a passion for education and had a great impact on students' lives and their future. So thank you.
Just to echo what Mark said, thank you for not only what you've done for our district, but, in your classroom, but for our community as well. Many of you have done things that have expanded beyond that and touched different areas, and you brought different ideas and things to our district. So, thank you for everything. I was a 91 graduate. I feel a little old because none of you were here when I graduated. So, you're not quite that old, but thank you for everything you've done. And, as Jeff said before, you're always welcome back anytime to participate in a substitution role. So it'd be great to have you. So thank you.
We need to get a picture now we've done that with the board, so the board can come out and we get one in the middle and let the board.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, I thought Richard said no. Yeah, for sure. Yes, yes, if you can hold your plaque so we can see it. That'd be great. It's good. Yes, Blair? Hi, Alfred. If you're going to get gradually closer to you. Not weird at all. He's a close talker. Keep looking great. Great job. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm glad you checked on me.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, thanks for coming. Have a great night. Retirees, thanks. Spouses for coming as well. And we'll, yes, grab cupcakes, please, that are back there. And then I've asked Mr. Manti to come up and read the next couple pieces that are related to the high school as we look at ending our year and also some recognitions that we've had in the last couple weeks.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to read a few of the recent accomplishments that are related to Grafton High School and our students. First and foremost, Grafton High School's graduation ceremony for the class of 2024 will be held on Sunday, June 2nd at 10 o'clock a.m. Congratulations to our valedictorian, Haley Markoff, salutatorian, Juhi Jha, and to the top 10 academic students, who we will list them alphabetically. Sarah Aleknavicius, Jacob Dempsey, Juhi Jha, Ella Johnston-Fedor, Haley Markoff, Pranzi Patel, Priyansh Patel, Erica Pleer, Brogan Ringgold, and Keegan Basilik. So big congratulations to all of our top 10 students and certainly our valedictorian and salutatorian for the class of 2024. Next, we'd like to recognize the following musicians who received the highest rating of 1 at the state solo and ensemble competition. Abigail Bigler, Kayla Brennan, Piper Flagg, Lincoln Grykar, Tanvi Hardas, Anna Kroll, Izzy Lubeck, Maya Leaning, Jacob Olson, Brogan Ringgold, and Mason Rigg. And a special congratulations to the members of Graftonics who received an exemplary performance nomination along with their #1 rating. So a big congratulations to all of our state solo and ensemble competitors on their accomplishments. Next, we're going to talk about a couple GHS students who were state finals at the Wisconsin Civics Games on May 10th. Congratulations to GHS students Colin Garvey, Nathan Mitchell, and Trevor Nauta, who advanced to the state finals competition of Civics Games at the state capitol. The Civics Games are sponsored by the Wisconsin Newspaper Association Foundation and the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction to promote civics education and encourage Wisconsin high school students to develop an interest in public service. So first time that our students had competed in this competition, and obviously did an outstanding job, so congratulations to that team. And I'll end with having the opportunity to talk a little bit about our Project Lead the Way program throughout the district. Congratulations to GHS on its repeat designation as a Project Lead the Way distinguished school for increasing student access, engagement, and achievement in its PLTW biomedical and engineering courses. Congratulations also to Kennedy and Woodview, who were both named PLTW distinguished schools for providing broad access to transformative learning experiences for students through PLTW Launch, an elementary STEM curriculum. The three schools are the only schools in Ozaki County to be recognized by PLTW with these honors. So we have had this accomplishment at the high school for a number of years. It's awesome to see our elementary schools being recognized for the outstanding work that they're doing with PLTW and engineering at the elementary schools in the district. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mr. Mantek. And then our district has been awarded the Top Workplace 2024 by the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel Top Workplaces. This is our second year that we've been honored in this way. It is based solely on employee feedback gathered through a third-party survey that all staff members in the district take, and then Energage is the LLC that runs the survey. It measures 15 cultural drivers that are critical to the success of any organization, including alignment, execution, and connection, just to name a few. Congratulations to the entire district and our staff. We celebrated with them during Teacher Appreciation Week. We combined Teacher Appreciation Week with the celebration with Top Workplace 2024. And then the district will be celebrating Grafton Zip Code Day on 5/30/24. Went to Claire Butler's classes and presented them with an option of creating a sticker for us. We're trying to think of something that all of our students and staff can have to sort of commemorate that day. And this was by Brooklyn Pitchford, who's submitting the winning design. And so we are having stickers made. You'll see, everyone, that's the thing of putting them on bottles or putting them on various things. So everyone's going to get a sticker commemorating the day and the fact that our zip code happened to be on a day of our calendar. It's the only time in our life we'll have that happen unless you move to another zip code that occurs. So 5/30/24, we'll be celebrating the zip code day. I know the village is doing some things with the chamber in the evening, but during the day we'll be celebrating our zip code. So congratulations to Brooklyn. And then an update on parent testing opt-outs for standardized testing. The board had approved, we updated the ability for people to opt out by saying it need to be in a written letter. And we've actually seen the number of students who opted out drop significantly to the least amount of opt-outs that we've had in the last 7 years. So we had 9 people choose to opt out. We had 5 at the high school, 2 at the middle school, 2 at the elementary, where conversely last year we had 22 students, year before that 21, year before that 19. So more students taking a standardized test, giving us better data, feedback on how we're doing in our classrooms, but giving the board an update with that. And then a construction update. So we've been having design meetings. We're going to hear more about some of the pieces from looking at what are the things that we're looking at with contracts and so forth. But we've met with the 5th grade team, has looked at multiple options. They've selected a final design that we showed at finance that has a collaboration space as well as a vestibule area. We've met with our John Long Middle School special ed teachers, looking at some of taking feedback that they'd given to the design team on the site visits, and they've been able to look at some design pieces. And then Lisa Bowler for the science remodel, and we're meeting again with each of those groups this week. So now Growth Design has taken that feedback that they've been given, and they're coming back with just finalizing those pieces, because the idea is to have the final schematics by the end of the month to be able to go out to bid as we head into June. So a lot of meetings occurring with that as we end out our year, but making sure we're getting our teacher feedback before they're out for the summer and trying harder to pull them in. They have to be virtual at that point, So being able to have them in person, give feedback to us has been great. And we appreciate their feedback as we move forward. And with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Jeff on the superintendent's report? Okay. All right, thank you. Next, we will go to public comment. Is there anyone that would like to address the board this evening?
I'll start.
Great.
Hi, I'm back. My name is Robin Wiegand, and I'm here to talk about the transition from the fourth graders, the fifth grade into the middle school. So last time I was here, I asked for a sense of urgency around creating a plan to help both parents and students understand what that would look like. To this date, we haven't received any communications about that. I know you're busy and I appreciate the construction updates, but I'm really looking for what's that experience look like. We've got, I think it's like 12 more days, 11 after today of school left. So going into next year where our fourth graders will have their last year at Kennedy and Woodview, as parents, we know nothing. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what that experience is going to be like. So I don't know if it's appropriate to ask. I'm still learning how to address this, but I would love to understand what the update is and what the project plan is, or what that transition looks like of what we're thinking through, when we think we're going to get communications to parents, how this is going to happen through the summer, so that when we go into the fourth graders last year, which is next year, we have it planned out and well identified and well to communicate to the parents. So that's my question to the board. Can you answer?
We cannot address non-board agenda items.
Okay.
So we can listen to your request, but we cannot address those.
So how would I get those questions answered?
You can continue to email Superintendent Nelson, as well as when that's prepared to
Haven't gotten a
be
ton of information there.
sent, and it is being worked on, but that information will be forthcoming.
Okay, great. I'll keep emailing.
Anyone else like to address the board? Okay, seeing none, we will go to item C, resolution awarding the sale of the $11,140,000 general obligation promissory notes.
Yes, I would like to introduce Tim Weinsek from Baird, and maybe more importantly, a resident of Grafton. Recently moved in the area and is, one of the reasons we're here tonight, borrowing some money to build more space. But Tim is going to present the results of today's sale.
Yes, thanks, Topher. So as Topher mentioned, proud new resident. I moved in last July, and one of the things that drew me and my wife to Grafton is the school district itself. So it was very exciting for us to have an opportunity last month to invest in the community via the referendum, and I'm very proud and excited to be here tonight to share the results of today's GO promissory note sale. So I believe everybody should have a handout with a Baird cover on it that I will just kind of walk through to touch on some of the highlights now that we have finalized the financing piece of the referendum this morning. So the second page should have a little issue summary table, which is stuff that I know that Mike Clark has been communicating with the board and the district and the community all along. So just a couple quick reminders. The official legal title and the title of the resolution for tonight's action item is general obligation promissory notes in the amount of $11,140,000, which is the full referendum authority. On June 10th is when the district will actually receive those funds to be invested and used towards the construction costs of adding on to the new middle school. Interest payments on that new issue will start on April 1st, and the first eligible call date for investors is October 1st, 2031. The district was able to maintain their AA2 credit rating from Moody's, which is outstanding. I'll touch on that a little bit later on in the report, but that helped to play a big role into the interest rate that we were able to get finalized today as the strong creditworthiness of the district. And last but not least, the final interest rate on the borrowing today was 3.69%, which is very, very exciting news, because if you turn to the next page, this is our official financing plan, which lays out the repayment schedule of the new issue. What's exciting, and as a resident, I can speak to how clear the communication was. We were able to lock in today's final structure with exactly what was communicated to the community. It's going to have, this new debt is not going to have an impact on the taxes, and we are able to kind of repay this new debt along the same kind of timeline as the prior referendum debt. So we were able to satisfy both of those items that were communicated to the public. Where I would address your attention is that lower right-hand corner. That 3.69% is over 1.3% under our preliminary planning estimates. So an incredible success this morning. And what that translates to is, in terms of nominal dollars, that's savings of over $660,000 over the new issue from where we were planning and what was communicated to the public during the pre-referendum stage versus where we were able to get interest rates finalized today. Moving on is the full official copy of the Moody's rating report, which is kind of a detailed analysis that they were, when they were looking through the financials of the district and some of those other things. I'm not going to go through the entire report, but I would just address your attention to the summary page. Gives some really nice highlights as that played into the main components of the district's rating. So a few of those include strong economic base and solid financial position. Enrollment is likely to continue to grow. Myself and my wife kind of evidence of that. New residents, new development, which is very exciting for the community. Credit strengths, strong property wealth, resident incomes, growing enrollment, low leverage. Some of the challenges compared to other districts that have a AA2 rating, the reserves aren't quite as strong, but nonetheless did not impact the district's AA2 credit rating. Factors that could lead to an upgrade. The district currently has a policy in place where they try and maintain fund balance about 15%. If that was to hover closer to 30%, that could lead to a potential upgrade into the AA1 category. And factors that could lead to a downgrade, kind of conversely, if some of those fund balance ratios were to kind of drop back down close to that 15%, potentially could drop down. But all of that helped to play into that 3.69% interest rate. And then the subsequent pages in that rating report have more detail with some of the other metrics that Moody's had identified for the district, as well as some, like, a little bit of expansion on some of those summary notes that I had provided this evening. With that, I would turn it over to the board and ask if there are any questions pertaining to today's GEO promissory note sale.
Any questions on the board?
The first interest payment was April, you said?
April 1st of 2025.
2025,
For the new
okay.
debt.
I guess I don't have any real questions, but thank you. I think, as you said, we've lived up to what we communicated during the referendum process, that we're not going to impact taxes. We got a very favorable rate, which is great, so thank you for your work.
My pleasure.
Okay. Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to Grafton.
Thank you.
So we will need a motion. A motion to approve the resolution. Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the resolution as presented based on the Baird report?
So moved. Second.
First and second, any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that passes. So thank you again. D, student overnight trip request.
Yes, we have two requests for the board. I'll ask Mr. Bardwell to come up and talk about the one that's the lengthy one, and have him talk through that. The first, while she's getting there ready, the first one is the HOSA Future Health Professionals International Leadership Conference in Houston, Texas, with Fran Grant, who's retiring, but is still taking the students on the 25th through the 30th. You can see the tour costs and so forth. They're competing at the international conference, which is amazing for them. And they qualified at the state conference to be able to go there, so we're excited for them. So that's one part. And then the next part is our Costa Rica Frica.
Yeah, so we used Costa Rica Frica last year, or last summer. Every 2 summers, we're hopefully to do a hosting program with them, an intercambio, an exchange between the 2 schools. Currently, we're matched up with 2 schools in the same vicinity to come and host them and then reciprocate and go over there in June. So we're seeking approval from you guys again to allow our students that opportunity to go overnight at a reasonable cost. That's one reason we go with this program, is because for the students, it's only $2,400 for 14 days, which I don't think I can travel for that cost anymore abroad for 14 days. So it's a great experience for them. They get the experience of living with the other families, with the cultures. And so, yeah, be our second time, if possible.
So we gave you, Mr. Bardwell had given us the slideshow that has a lot of the information that's included in there when they're leaving, some of the activities they get to do that are both fun, as well as educationally, as well as culturally. So it really outlines the whole piece, so you can see that. Great opportunity for our students. Appreciate him taking the initiative with this and bringing this for our students, and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions.
How many students went the first time, and how many you just this time?
First time we took 12 students of our own, and then we kind of adopted 5 from the Madison area and took them as well.
Okay. Any additional questions on the Costa Rica Frica trip?
Nice business name, right?
All right, if no more questions, do we have a motion to approve the 2 trip requests as presented?
So moved. Second.
First and second. Additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. Thank you. Have a good time. Personnel report.
Yes, so we have some new hires that we would ask for board approval, as well as some resignations as well. Our new hires are Summer Klepek, vocal music teacher at John Long Middle School and Grafton High School; Julia Leeson, Director of Teaching and Learning; Jack Lilyquist, math teacher at John Long Middle School; Julie Tanner, math teacher at Grafton High School; and Wendy Wagner, Family and Consumer Sciences teacher at Grafton High School. So you'll see a number of our retirees, and these are a couple of their replacements that are coming and filling those big shoes. And we have resignations effective at the end of the 23-24 school year. Alicia Cornely, special education teacher at Grafton High School; Rusty Meyer, business and information technology teacher at Grafton High School; Ellie Newmeyer, school psychologist, John Long Middle School; Chris Thibodeau, math teacher at Grafton High School. And effective for the 24-25 school year, Fallon Kennedy, fourth grade teacher, Kennedy Elementary School. The board had approved her at the last meeting. She interviewed somewhere else and took a position somewhere else, even though she'd been board approved. So we're asking for your approval of those resignations. Before you approve, I have asked Julia Leeson, who's here as our new Director of Teaching and Learning, to come up. Julia started her career as a fourth grade teacher. She was then a technology and social media coach, an instructional technology and innovation coach, and currently serves as the Director of Instructional Technology at Germantown. Julia is also a resident in the district, so she has kids. She's a parent for us as well, but as a resident in Grafton, I've asked her just to say a couple words about coming here.
I mean, he said everything I was going to say, so I don't know what else I can add. My husband and I moved to the Grafton School District 3 years ago. My son is second grade at Kennedy, and my daughter is 4K at Kennedy. Like Jeff mentioned, I am the Director of Instructional Technology of the Germantown School District, and I'm really looking forward to being able to serve the Grafton community and as the Director of Teaching and Learning.
Great. Carrie was our representative on the board for the interview process, so
yeah, I had the opportunity to get to meet with Julia. She did an excellent job presenting and really impressed everyone in the interview, and I'm looking forward to working with her on the curriculum committee.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have 33 people apply for the position, so we brought in 5 people for our first round of interviews. That we had instructional coaches. Carrie was there representing the board as the curriculum chair, a couple administrators, and then we brought 3 back for a final round with just an administrative team, and Julia was unanimous choice for our team. And so we're excited to have her come and start on July 1st. We're looking at, with board approval tonight, have her do a meet and greet on June 6th with staff, so she'll be able to meet staff in the morning. There's some training going in the afternoon that she'll be able to join, and then another day for a transition plan with Dr. McMahon as he looks to leave to go to court as well. So we're working on a transition plan to bring her on board and have her be able to hit the ground running, but we're excited to have her join our team. But we would ask for board approval for all the hires.
Thank you for joining us and introducing yourself to us tonight. All right, so we will do the new hires first. So I would look for a motion for Summer Klepek, vocal music teacher for John Law Middle School and Grafton High School, Julia Leeson, Director of Teaching and Learning, Jack Quest, math teacher John Long, Julie Tanner, math teacher GHS, and Wendy Wagner, family and consumer science teacher, Grafton High School. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye of the new hires. Aye. Opposed? Passes. Thank you, and welcome to the district, not only Julia, but all of our new hires. Resignations, do we have to do these in two, Carrie? Kara? Do them all one? Okay. So we would have the resignation of Alicia Corneli, special education teacher at Grafton High School, Rusty Meyer, business and information teacher at Grafton High School, Allie Newmeyer, psychologist, John Law Middle School, and Chris Thibodeau, math teacher at Grafton High School, as well as Ellen Kennedy, fourth grade teacher, Kennedy. Do we have a motion for the resignations?
So moved.
Second.
First and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. We thank those that have been with our district for what they've done. We wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors. So thank you very much. Next, contract for design services.
Yes, so as you recall, in March, we did evaluate proposals that we received for design services for the John Long expansion project related to the referendum. And we did select at that meeting to pursue a contract with Growth Design Group. We have had both legal as well as representative from Huffman Keel evaluate that, take a look at that, work with Growth to come up with that contract. I did get that to you today, a bit later than I would have liked, as I mentioned. But we do have Jordan here to give a brief overview of the contract and to answer any questions you might have.
Jordan Schultz, Jonathan Keel. Good to see you all again. So, yeah, I mean, we had the RFP process. Obviously, you have met the growth team. And really, this was just codifying what was already in motion, more or less. Again, I won't go through all the various terms, but between ourselves focusing more on the business side, business terms, and then your council focusing more on some of the legal terms, we came to a very easy meeting of the minds with growth. So there was nothing that was argumentative and tough to deal with. Some of the things that just need to be synced up was again, some of the legal language, but then just some of the terminology in terms of how many bid packages we'll do, right? Because we've talked about doing 3 bid packages. We need to make sure that's in the contract, right? Obviously, the fee for the services, and it's just items like that. So again, I won't bore you with the details and go through the thing, but if you do have questions, feel free to reach out now or in the subsequent days.
Any questions from what Topher forwarded to us today for the design contract? Nope. You were able to attend our finance meeting last week as well and shared a lot of that information, so we appreciate that as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So with that, I would look for a recommendation to approve design contract with Growth Design Group.
So moved.
Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes as well. And we should be all set then with growth moving forward. All right. G and H is from our Finance Committee meeting on May 13th. So we had a large agenda and some things for board approval tonight that have been recommended to the full board, as well as some informational items. So I'll hand it off to Jerry and Topher.
Yeah, we covered, I think, 13 things last Monday in the Finance Committee. Most of them are going to be recapped here by Topher, so turn it over to you to do that.
All right, so first off, we have the construction management services. So as you know, we have put out an RFP like we did for the design contract. to get requests for proposals. And at that meeting, we had Jordan review those proposals. And I'm going to actually have Jordan come up again and present the results of what that process brought to us, as well as Finance Committee.
Yeah, so again, we talked last week at Finance in a little bit more detail about what the process entailed and everything, but we do have a high-level overview that I'll go through real quick. So again, similar to the A&E side, right now we're in the CM side, so that the actual builder, and so we solicited seven proposals, got 6 back, which again, for a project this size was a little bit surprising to have that level of attention, so it was exciting. And we had 4 evaluators, both within district and then our team, Michelle and I, just to evaluate really, again, we were only soliciting from firms that we knew could perform the job, right? We weren't throwing this out to just anybody. So we were confident of any that were returning, we'd be more than happy to bring to the job. But there's those nuances and those differentiators that you have to really zero in on to make this project a success, because it's not just the addition, it's also the interior renovations that you want to make sure that you are taking care to put that work in place in the summertime and not bleeding into the school year. And you're also wanting to make sure that they deal with existing conditions in other buildings, because you're not building an easy ground-up building. You're dealing with existing structure and existing MEP systems, et cetera. So we want to make sure the experience was there. The team obviously matters, because again, the team has to have the experience in situations like that. And then of course the fee, right? The dollars and the cents matter, and so we evaluated that piece. In summary, like I said, 6, sorry, can you go back one slide? All good. So 6 very strong proposals and teams. The fees were as expected, so we'll talk about that in a minute. And then bottom line is C.G. Schmidt was recommended by Finance, and that's what's coming to you tonight. And that was primarily due to, obviously, some really solid pre-referendum experience. So nothing that was raising a red flag of like, gosh, these guys are not attentive to it. They were very much attentive throughout the process of bringing us to the referendum, right? The mailers and the help brainstorming on the budget and all of that process. So that was obviously a check in the right direction. Very strong references, B. And then Ryan's continued role. Ryan's here tonight. So I can't say anything too bad about him, but truly, I mean, it matters what personality you bring to the table, and that he's going to be around for the project so that he can add his pre-ref input throughout the rest of the actual execution, because you have to tie those things together. Assumptions that were made prior to 4/2 or whatever the date was, all the way through the end. And then the low fee and personnel rates, and we'll get in a minute. Now I'm ready for the next one. All right. So very high overview, just because, again, these types of questions come up, and I went into a little bit of detail with this with Finance, just because, again, we're numbers people. So there's 2 really big sections of the cost of construction. So this is only the hard costs. We're not talking about the soft costs like the furniture and the move management and all that. This is just construction. So it's really broken up into 2 pieces. One is what's shown here, and that is all the trades, right? And those are the electricians, the drywallers, the paint, all of that, right? And then that is all the stuff so-called above the line, and below the line is the next piece. And again, these are the costs to the contractor to run the job, and there's a bunch of buckets within it. And I just wanted to describe that really briefly, because people have questions about, well, what does this fee include? What does this fee not include? And so again, this is a very brief primer, and don't hesitate to ask questions. But item number 1, again, the trades, that's all the above the line stuff, and those are competitively bid. And that's an important thing, obviously, because that's where you have the competitive process resulting in the best number that the market can bear, right? And that includes self-perform work. So we want, hopefully, for the CM to self-perform particular things, because it allows them to control the schedule, so long as those things are competitively bid, right? Number 2, and again, this is below the line now, after you have all the trades, you've got general requirements, and those are things like, we need safety materials, right? We need safety tape, we need ladders, we need all this stuff to help execute the project. We need a job trailer, right? And so those are costs of C.G. Schmidt to run the job. Number 3, general conditions. So these are personnel that are needed to run the job. And those are the superintendent, the project manager, things like that. And so again, on that piece of it, we did ask for rates, right? So you can compare if someone's $160 an hour rate versus $120 an hour rate, and you can compare that across various contractors, because at the end of the day, you're going to have the super for X numbers of hours a year, and so you can easily multiply that out, even though you don't know the exact duration of the project out of the gates, right? Fourth is insurance. Fifth is bond. Again, those are kind of bland, but again, they're just important to look at for a hot minute, because those can be little spots where, hey, if you're saving 0.5%, that ultimately can make a little bit of a difference on the cost. And then obviously number 6 is the fee. And again, we just requested a fee comparison across the contractors, which range from 1.5% up to 3% or so. I think that was about it. Quick 3-month look ahead as we engage here. So again, this month, Jeff mentioned earlier, schematic documents. So they're doing drawings right now based on the feedback from teachers and based on the pre-ref planning. And then we're working on the CM contract, obviously tonight. In June, that's the SD estimate. So that's schematic drawings. Ryan's team will put together a more detailed estimate than they did during pre-ref to say, hey, here are what the costs look like based on the more detailed drawings that you've given to us. And then we plan to submit to Plan Commission. So that's the first step with the village to say, here's what we're planning to build. Any questions or any issues? And then in July, design development comes after the schematic drawings, and that will continue to detail out the drawings, some more interior investigation as to above ceiling, et cetera. And then we'll go from Plan Commission into the Architectural Review Board, supposing that we go from a 1-step, 2-step, and they don't delay us with big wholesale changes, which I wouldn't anticipate. Any questions either on the schedule, looking the next 3 months, or on the CM contract or CM engagement?
Questions for Ryan? I mean, good summary as far as what we heard at the Finance Committee. No changes on that. Okay, good recap. Thank you very much. If there are no questions, I would look for a motion to pursue an agreement with CG Smith for the construction management services.
So moved. Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes. And we look forward to working with you, so thank you. All right, cleaning service contract.
Yes, so after 6 years of being under a cleaning contract with Total Cleaning, the contract, as it was coming to an end, caused us to go out to bid for cleaning services. We received 4 bids, and the administration brought a recommendation forward to the Finance Committee with LA Crystal, to move forward with LNA Crystal for our cleaning. Out of the 4 bids, they were the low bid. They also came highly recommended by area school districts that use them currently, and they are a local company based here in Grafton, so very responsive. So we had Dimitri at that Finance Committee meeting. He was able to introduce himself. Finance Committee was able to meet him, and we bring this contract forward from Finance and Administration for approval tonight.
Any additional questions or follow-up from when Dimitri was at our finance meeting and the proposal was presented? Okay. Then I would look for a motion to approve to enter into a cleaning service agreement with LNA Crystal.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that passes. So thank you for reaching out to multiple bids and for finding LA Crystal. Next, 2024-2025 staff handbook.
Yes, so we presented administration's recommended changes to the staff handbook for use next year. Among them were eliminating the use of paid leave in conjunction with workers' comp payments, being that they come at 2/3, but they are also not taxed. They come as a straight payment to avoid actually compensating people more for being out injured than they otherwise would be. Then we also added language to make sure that personal days, like sick leave days or other paid time off, is actually only used up to the amount that's earned. For example, you get 3 personal days and you work for us for 4 months and then you leave, making sure that you're only able to use 1 personal day, that you wouldn't be able to use 3. That aligns it with how our other leaves are treated. And then also changing the language for staff evaluations to be occurring on a 3-year cycle. That way our handbook language matches what our actual practices are. And in the last section of the handbook, changes to some of our extracurriculars and athletic pieces. So we added Girls on the Run to each elementary. The high school art club was changed from an I to a G, so an increase in pay for that club. One of our Blackhawk crew positions was changed to a freshman advisor coordinator who will lead that team and work on developing a curriculum for that program. The esports coordinator was split into 3 seasons with D stipends instead of just the 1 position with a B stipend, as we learn more about how that position runs and the responsibilities that they have. We also removed summer school coordinator listing. It is not related to an extracurricular activity. That was still in there, a lot like some of the other pieces that were not extracurricular, but rather budgetary related contracts in place to make programs run. That was it. So Finance Committee did recommend to the full board approval of the handbook. So we're looking forward for the board to approve that tonight for use next year.
Additional questions or follow-up from our finance meeting when this was presented? As Tober mentioned, it was recommended us by the finance committee, so at that point, I would look for an approval to recommend the changes to the handbook as presented.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes for those changes, so thank you very much. For property and casualty insurance renewals.
Yes, so at the committee, Finance Committee last Monday, we did have Paul Lasilla from R&R Insurance who presented us with our property and casualty insurance renewals for next year. He went through the different lines and the percentage change of those lines. I will point out that what was presented at Finance for property renewal was reduced somewhat. So we have a different deductible on property insurance that goes from $10,000 to $25,000 and reduces our premium by around $5,200 or so. And so based on what we've experienced in terms of property loss, that made sense to do that, as well as the idea that that's going to, the market is pushing toward that being a standard deductible moving forward in future years. With those changes, the total premium increases 4.3%. We had budgeted for 5% overall increases in premium, so this does help the budget somewhat. And then you see the dividend being 20% moving forward rather than the 25%. So again, administration recommended this. This comes recommended by Finance for approval at tonight's board meeting for our lines of property and casualty insurance for next year.
Any questions? Good. All right, so I look for a motion to approve the 24-25 workers' compensation property and casualty insurance coverage brought forward by R&R Insurance.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes as well. It was a long finance meeting. Number 5, 24-25 school fees.
Yeah, so school fees. So at the Finance Committee meeting, we took a look at current school fees, both for us and our neighbors. Currently, we sit very similar to 2 of our neighbors and significantly below another of our neighbors. Out of Finance and from administration, we have recommendations to not change any of our fees for 2024-25. So we'd be looking for a recommendation to use these fees for next school year.
Discussions? we have a motion to hold fees as they currently stand for the comparison?
So moved.
Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. And they stay the same. 6, FSMC contract renewal.
Our fifth contract we're talking about tonight, our food service management company contract. So Chartwell's, who has been with us for 5 years now, has seen us through the pandemic and operating virtually, has seen the expansion of the breakfast program to the elementary school, our elementary schools, and has really done a great job in terms of when the district asks for particular things to occur, they jump to it and get those things done. We have seen our profits stabilize during that time. As you recall, before when we were self-op, we would see ups and downs in terms of losses some years, profits some years, with us having dipped fairly low before we went to outsourcing our food service. And so we're in a much better place financially. Their bid that has to be done, we have to go to bid every 5 years, increases charges per meal by 8 cents for breakfast, 17 cents from lunch, for lunch. That's an increase of 4.4%, which is below December's food away from home inflation of 5.2%, which is typically used for those 1-year renewals that we are allowed to do for the next 4 years. So we bring forward this renewal with Chartwell's to continue our relationship with them. It came out of finance as recommended to the board. So we look for approval of that contract tonight.
Questions on the contract? Certainly, they have been a good partner, and we look forward to working with them going forward. So with that, I will look for a motion to approve the contract with Chartwell's to serve as our FSMC for 24-25.
So moved.
Second.
All right, additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes as well. Number 7, 24-25 school meal prices.
All right, and as we get increased prices for the meals that we're basically purchasing from Chartwell's as they serve them to students, we do have school meal prices recommended for next school year in the neighborhood of 10 cents for lunch. Breakfast prices, 10-cent increase and a 20-cent increase for lunch. Again, with the goal of maintaining a balanced budget with increased meal prices that the district has seen, as well as covering those costs outside of what we pay to Chartwell's, maintaining our equipment, some utility costs, servicing our equipment, as well as other pieces, Skyward software, to maintain the finances of food service. So with the goal of maintaining a balanced budget in the food service program, we bring forward these meal increases to you tonight.
These were reviewed by the Finance Committee and approved to us. So any additional discussion? Okay. I will look for a motion to approve the increased meal prices as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that passes as well. So that is all of our items from the Finance Committee meeting for recognition for board action. Item H has 3 items that are informational only.
Yes, so one piece that did come out before I move on to the capital maintenance plan, or I should say that did not come out from finance, the soccer restrooms and concessions agenda item was tabled, so discussions of building the soccer restroom and concession stand will be tabled for further discussion. But pieces that were presented information-wise and not needing approval, but only information, would be the capital maintenance plan. So we reviewed the capital maintenance plan, took a look at these projects slated for completion this fiscal year, this current fiscal year, with some of these, if they're scheduled for the summer, potentially bleeding into next fiscal year if they aren't finished by June 30th. So we reviewed that information, as well as a new piece in the plan of the auditorium side curtains. We also reviewed the finances of the capital maintenance plan. The board has a goal, the district has a goal of having the next 10 years of projects that are in our capital maintenance plan fully funded, with continued transfers to Fund 46. And as you can see here, we do have enough available fund balance, or balance within the capital maintenance plan to tackle those projects, pay for those projects over the next 10 years. So next steps with the capital maintenance plan, July does give us the opportunity to approve a transfer, any additional transfer, if any. We will, as I mentioned, the plan would be to not actually transfer the money budgeted in this year's budget, but to put it into our fund balance and designate it for a transfer next fiscal year to maximize state aid. So that would move forward there. In August, once we have closed the books on our expenses for these projects, then we can present a fully completed capital maintenance plan for 2024-25 to present to the board for approval in August. So any information only, any questions on our cap plan?
No, another good recap from our meeting last Monday. We're all good, information only.
All right.
Okay. Thank you for all your updates.
Oh, I'm not done.
Oh, yes.
So, 24-25 preliminary budget presented at Finance. We took a look at revenue projections, the primary pieces that really affecting our revenue being the fact that we have increased membership. So we're bringing in the funds related to those students, as well as the increase in the amount we're allowed to raise per member. That gives us nearly $1 million in new revenue next year. The other piece would be some increases, some expected increases in special ed aid. So those would be the primary reasons why we see Fund 10 revenue increase of about $1,144,000. That's a 4.3% increase over the last year. And so again, membership, we're seeing that go up. This is our 3-year average, increasing from 1992 to 2021, primarily due to the fact that the 2001 membership is dropping off and being replaced by a number that is around 85 more members than 3 years ago. And again, the $325 per member amount that is going up. So this would be the second year that that per member amount goes up by $325 after seeing 2 years of $0 increases. As you've probably heard from other districts, not us, but other districts that have had to go to operating referendum or are planning to go to operating referendum, this is primarily due to the fact that since 2008-2009, the amount that districts are allowed to raise per member in revenue has lagged inflation by $3,380. For example, here, if we had that additional revenue, that would be $6.7 million roughly. So other districts, because of this, have had to go to operating referendum. In fact, since 2014, so in the last 10 years, 256 out of 420 some districts in the state have gone to an operating referendum to increase their revenue limit authority. And across the state, 100 districts actually get over 10% of their revenue limit authority from an operating referendum. So that's expected to grow as we had additional districts approve referendums in April and more to pass in November. Again, we are not considering an operating referendum at this time, but just wanted to point out that, you know, this is why you're hearing about it from other districts in our area. So overall, the revenue limit increase is nearly $1 million, again, because we are seeing increased membership and we're allowed to raise additional funds per member. It's also part of our revenue limit, so overall, our revenue limit increases. We can't use all of it. It will also go up by roughly $150,000, I believe. That is an estimate, but when that goes up, when there's increased, they're basically able to increase the dollar amount per kid participating. That becomes a tax levy, right? So we increase the tax levy to bring those funds in, and then we send it to the private schools to fund that private school choice program. Just another reminder how last year the $325 increase per member was certainly welcomed, but you did see some other programs like the voucher program, special needs voucher program, among others, increase significantly in how much they get per member relative to what public schools received. And again, Fund 27 revenue, we're still looking at a fairly sizable $3.35 million transfer from Fund 10 into Fund 27. Again, this was an ask the last biennial to increase funding for special ed, the reimbursement rate. That stays right around the same. We're assuming that it's going to be about 31.5% that they will actually receive. So that means we do have to transfer money. Most of Fund 27 is funded through a transfer from Fund 10. Overall, revenue goes up 4.3%, over $1 million in Fund 10. The Fund 10 expenditure budget is increasing 3.4% to $28 million. Some of the pieces contributing to that, salary and wage increases. You have a budgeted 10% increase in health insurance premiums. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. We did see teacher FT increase 3.1 overall, and then we're assuming family health benefits for people, new hires who have not yet selected what their benefits will be for next year. And then some of the other pieces would be an expected increase to transportation budget because of the potential to add routes, because they may get to a point where they can hire drivers and run routes like we used to run, as well as the 3% increase in utilities. Again, overall an increase in the expenditures of about $918,000, 3.4% increase. So that results in a budget deficit of a little bit under $200,000. So what that means for our fund balance, we would be looking at ending 2024-25 with a 21.2% fund balance ratio. I'll point out that the blue in the blue is what we set aside a number of years ago when we claimed our ESSER funds and put it into fund balance as a revenue stabilization fund. And so you'll see that we have spent that down. Again, that's what it was put there to deal with increases of $0 per member with record inflation. So we have been using it. I'll also point out that the green bar, that is a future Fund 46 transfer. So we set that aside in 21-22 and then did transfer that money in 2022-23. And then we do anticipate that ending fund balance will have a future, an amount that is a future transfer to Fund 46 as well. So next steps with the budget. Again, so May here, we've gotten a chance to take a look at the preliminary budget. It'll come back to June for approval at the board meeting. Then in September, we'll have a budget hearing and our annual meeting. And then in October, we'll get final budget numbers from the state, and we'll be able to finalize the budget and certify the levy at the October board meeting. Any questions? Information only.
Questions for Topher? Okay. Thank you again. Now you can be done.
Yeah.
All right, item I, board committee assignments. I did not get any requests for changes or updates to what we currently have, so we will stay the same. So it'll be finance. Jerry will be the chair with Blair and Mark. Policy will be Mark will be the chair with Bob and Carrie. Curriculum will be Carrie as the chair with Blair and Sean. Marketing Communications Committee will be Sean will be the chair with Bob and Jerry. and then school liaison committee with the village. I will be the chair with Mark, so we will keep that the same. Okay. J, gift reports.
Yes, we have 5 gift reports we would ask for board approval for. One being from Aurora Medical Center and Aurora Medical staff in Grafton, with Haley Noonan being our contact. It's for the fee for PLTW Biomedical Science Program at the high school in the amount of $2,500. And then from the Grafton Music and Theater Boosters, with Rick Seibold being the contact person, a cash gift for purchasing, and I looked this up, and I should have asked him how to say it, because I thought maybe he was messing with me, but this really is a brass instrument. Euphonium, in the amount of $2,126. Rick's big in the brass, so he's the expert in that, so I know that he would know exactly what this thing does. So $2,126 for the band instrument purchase. Grafton Athletic Booster Club has 3 gifts, with Ben Brehan being the contact person, one for Grafton High School tennis, and for tennis scorekeeper storage rack, and the roll dry master roller unit in the amount of $179.95 and $448.72. And then for the boys and girls tennis, again, tennis scorecards for tennis courts in the amount of, this one caught me by surprise, in the amount of $1,375.07 for scorecards on the side for those matches. And then last but not least, for Grafton High School football, for the Wisconsin Coaches Association fee in the amount of $473.61.
Any questions on the gift reports as presented? Is there a motion to approve the gift reports as presented?
So moved.
Second.
A first and a second, any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. And we thank them for their generosity, and we will get them a note of appreciation. So thank you very much. That brings us to adjournment. The Board of Education will consider a motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Section 1, subsection C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, and performance evaluation data of any employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for purpose of considering 1, employee compensation, and 2, retirement benefits. We have a motion.
So moved. Second.
And a first and a second, we'll take a voice vote. Bob?
Yes.
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 And yes, we are enclosed. Thank you very much.